Welcome to this one-to-one. I'm Peter Martin. I'm delighted to say our guest today is the former Celtic physio Brian Scott. Looking back over an illustrious career, Brian, I have to say. How did you, first of all, get from physio into the football world?
Basically, when I was a kid, I picked up a lot of injuries. So I spent time getting treatment and rehabilitated. So it was just an extension of that, you know. I was fortunate to meet a guy in Peebles, down the borders where I'm from, who had just retired from Leeds United, and he was very proactive about guiding me towards physio, because at that time my mind was sort of set on doing medicine, strangely enough, and I'm not unhappy that I've decided to go down the physio side. So I had to then come up to Glasgow, where I studied at the old Royal Infirmary, and that wasn't smooth by all means, because I remember making a total hash of the exams and all the rest of it, thinking I was never ever going to make it, but you just had to stick to it, and it was at the last chance saloon that I managed to pass an exam and get through, and then it really just flowed from there, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I look at so many of the old pictures, I always seem to associate you, side by side with Billy McNeill. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people would have a strong link to you with Celtic, but
Yeah.
started out way before that.
Yeah, very much so. Billy was at Aberdeen, and I was working with a woman in the Royal Infirmary in Glasgow, and she was friendly with a guy called Ronnie Coots, who, I don't know if you remember that name, he was the Aberdeen physio, and at that time I was working with Billy Little at Falkirk, and she'd said to me, by the way, I've heard that Ronnie's emigrating to Tasmania,
Yeah.
of all places.
Yeah, dancer.
Yeah, I know. So I thought, I'm in there. And I just literally sent him my CV, and I just waited.
Were you in awe of him
Of
when you met Billy?
Billy, big time.
Yeah?
Oh, aye. Billy's he just had this aura about him. No, he was great with me, to be perfectly honest.
How did the move to Celtic come about? Because obviously you're at Aberdeen, you're settled in there, Billy's in there, and then suddenly, wham.
I was at a sports injury conference in Cardiff, and I'd phoned my mum and dad to say, like, that's me back, la-da-da-da-da. And my mum says to me, look, my mate from Aberdeen, a guy, Graham Hawley, Graham's been on the phone for you. Billy McNeill's trying to get a hold of you. And I had no idea what this was about at all, and I said, well, I'm flying back up at the weekend, I'll see what's what, because I was having to come back to Innerleithen to see my mum and dad. Then I was going up the road to Aberdeen, and I had to be there on the Tuesday. So I got back on the Monday, and there was a message to phone Billy. So I did, and it was there again. It was just really, really casually, what are you doing tomorrow, sort of thing. It was, what were you doing tomorrow? I says, no, I have to be up in Aberdeen tomorrow. He says, you couldn't drop into the park on the way up, could you? I goes, aye, why not, sort of thing. And he sort of laid out his thoughts on what he was wanting to do. So then I had the prospect of having to go up the road and tell Fergie that I was leaving. He's laughing at it.
How did you take it?
I know, it went down all right eventually. But no, it was funny because I think in actual fact Billy had phoned them and said, look, we were going to speak to Brian, but when I went into the snooker room and he was playing snooker, I thought, oh
no. You're getting this cue right across your head.
But, and it's funny, we never said anything about it. He just said, right, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And he never held me back at all. And all the time that I'm bumped into him with different games, never cracked a light about it. And then we were down in Australia, remember when Scotland qualified for the World Cup?
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it came up in the taxi. Betty, you did that? I goes, I do remember that, as a matter of fact. We just laughed about it, sort of thing.
Yeah. What about from your perspective when you go to a club like Celtic? I mean, it's such a huge organisation, but over and above that, you've got all these players. I mean, especially at the time you joined, that was a crew of players who were, for me, some of the best wind-up merchants of all time.
Without a doubt, you know, they were great fun. You know, I can honestly say that they were good to me. I think I got away well a lot with them because they could have been an awful lot harsher on me. Because I remember Billy said to me, right, okay, is there anything we can change in the training? And I goes, I don't think we do enough, you know, stretching and mobilisation and all this as part of a warm-up. He goes, right, you can just take it then. And I just met these guys, so I goes, oh, here we go. So, and I remember it vividly when we'd gone, and we were training at the stadium, and it was down at the Celtic end, and so she's right, let's get you lying down in the grass. And we just started looking at me, says, you know, looking about, and she's right, and went through this stretching protocol sort of thing, which I'd been shown at college sort of thing from a guy who had a huge influence on me, but he thought that this was the way forward, and it wasn't the way that anybody else did it.
Yeah.
So I started to do this sort of thing, and they're looking at me, and oh, it was crazy, and they all stuck with it. In fairness, but it was one of these where you knew you were. See, when I was doing it, and I'm thinking, I'm going to get it really, really tight here.
Who were the players you're talking about?
Well, McGrew, Daniel Ferguson, he was there, wee Bobby, Kipper Lynch, they were all that, you know, and they weren't shy coming forward.
What was your favourite time? Because obviously winning things helps along the way. I mean, I see various images of you at different points at Celtic, and you know, the one great thing about it is I see you in the dugout, and there's Neely Mockin next to you. It must have been special having that bench. Billy McNeill, Neely Mockin's there as well. Jimmy
Steely. These were special people. You know, they were mad on football, and Steely he just loved helping and caring people.
Yeah.
But see, these were good men, good people.
Yeah.
They were great to work with.
Was there a special team that you thought, it's great to be with them?
Do you mean background team?
Or players?
Players?
Yeah, in a team that maybe won things that you thought, this is great, it's great going into work.
No, there's been several.
Yeah.
Several. Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I've been really lucky. You know, there wasn't a day where, you know, folks say, do you ever get fed up at work? I mean, no, and I never did. You know, and every day I enjoyed going in, and it was never, ever, ever a burden, you know, because you never knew what you were going into. That was one of the things, you know.
Yeah. And the players, were there players along the way? I mean, we can look back on special players who could do something on the park. Was there players that you thought, I enjoy the banter with him, he's great?
There, loads of them.
Yeah.
Loads of them. Funny guys, and I mean, there's actually too many to mention, but you know, Tommy Johnson, Stubbsy, Alan Stubbs, they were absolutely crazy, you know. But the whole atmosphere through the place was it was nice and light, and but they did some crazy things. Jim Henry, do you remember Big Jim, the conditioning coach?
Yeah.
We used to, thinking back, it was embarrassingly childish, but by the way, it was funny as anything. And it all started with a skeleton that we had, and so we had this, and they would Stubbsy would go into the cupboard with the skeleton, so we'd close this cupboard over, and so I would be doing something, you know, and I'd be using an ultrasound or something, and so we'd put off all the lights, so the place was dark, and all that was on was emergency lighting, and then it didn't matter who came in the door, they were getting it, you know. So I'd be working away, and the gambit was, oh, could you get me something out of the cupboard, sort of thing. And do you know this? it was wrong, but it worked every time.
They all fell for
They
it.
fell for the door would open, and this skeleton would come flying out with Stubbsy behind it. Honestly, I thought Big Jim was going to kill him. He got the fright of his life. It was funny things like that, you know, and it was light, but good fun, you know.
You mentioned the players. What about the games? You must have a favourite game that sticks in your mind?
You know, when McGarvey turns it on in the cup final, you know, that was crazy because we were struggling, really struggling, and Frankie Boy turns it on, and
is this 85? Is this against Dundee United?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we were down, we were one down very early on, and we struggled.
It was Beattie that scored up for Dundee United, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but and because the thing was that we'd gone into that game thinking, you know, it's actually a waste of time them turning up because we would just win this. So, you know, there was this air of confidence round about the players and the whole thing, and it was just a question of just turning up, picking up another trophy and going home with it. That was it. And we huffed and we puffed, but we got there in the end. That was great fun.
Probably interviewed 1,000,001 Celtic players, managers down through the years. Jimmy Johnson sticks in my head when he was trying to actually sum up leaving Celtic. He said he went into the car park and cried. When you look back over it, is that probably the saddest moment for you?
Yeah, no, it was a hard thing leaving the club. You know, especially when you'd been there for, I think it was 24 years and 2 months. Now that I've been too No, but yeah, it was sad. You know, but then life's got to go on, isn't it? You know, and you know, I've been lucky. I've met hundreds and hundreds of good guys. You know, and had the opportunity to work with some special folk, and you know, even when I was involved with Scotland, I mean, they hadn't a bad team then, you know, and there was your favourite Dalglish, he was there, and Souness and Hansen, and now you're talking about wind-up merchants. They were the worst ever.
Yeah,
they were terrible.
The strange thing about it is, you over a 24-year period at Celtic and beyond that, and with Scotland, must be one of the most blessed physios of all time to have worked with so many of great players in the halcyon days of football.
No, and I still regard it as, I'm really blessed to have got the chance to do it, you know, because it's funny, you know, when you're, especially, you know, there's all the nonsense, all the banter, especially when the group's here, because they feed off it sort of thing, but see, once it gets down to the one-on-one and you get to know them better, these were good guys, you know, and you know, folks say, you know, was there anybody that you didn't get on with? And you know, there wasn't, you know, and which is very, very strange, especially in such a strong environment as that, you know.
Yeah, Brian, going back through the years, it's been an absolute joy. I'm not going to keep you much longer because we've got to go away and work on all my injuries. So, on that note, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.